Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing Excalibur, issue number 2. The series is published by Marvel Comics, and this issue came out in November of 1988. The series is written by Claremont and illustrated by Alan Davis. On the inking we have Paul Neary, who Alan Davis and Paul Neary actually provide the cover artwork as well. And the cover actually does represent what actually goes on in the issue. On the colouring we have Glynis Oliver, I can pronounce that, but it's Glynis, and then Tom Orzechowski on the lettering, and the editor for this issue is Terry Kavanga, I can pronounce that, it's Kavangah, however you choose to pronounce that. So our story starts out with a race of beings, or aliens I guess you could say, called Warwolves, who have abducted some humans in Hobbs Station in London, and you find out later on why they've stolen these humans from Hobbs Station. At the same time, you have an unfortunate bystander who got knocked onto the tracks and winds up almost being run over by a train if she wasn't saved by Brian Braddock, aka Captain Britain, and Rachel Gray, or the Phoenix. At the same time, you have introduction to the rest of the team. You have Nightcrawler, or Kurt Wagner, and Megan, who is also known as I forget the name of what she's also known as, but I'll put an annotation in at the end of this video. And you also have the team on the trail of Kitty Pryde, or Shadowcat, who has phased with one of the Warwolves that ran off at the start of this issue, purely because to find out where the Warwolves are actually hiding. As unfortunately, due to Kitty's phasing powers, unfortunately reacting with the Warwolf, she's actually become trapped in the Warwolf's body, and as a result she's actually been taken to their hideout in a not very conventional way, unfortunately. But at the same time, you have some really great laugh out loud humour from the Warwolves, especially the Warwolf who actually tries to try on Kitty's skin, for lack of a better choice of words, and you have some great laugh out loud funny dialogue and some great reactions from her fellow Warwolves, if you will. At the same time, you have both Megan and Rachel Gray, or Phoenix, trying to find out where Kitty is exactly so they can rescue her from the Warwolves. At the same time, you also have Megan actually using her shape-shifting powers in order to basically find and track down Kitty using her senses, as Kitty left behind a physical trail when the Warwolves abducted her. Just bear with me a minute while I turn the page. At the same time, you also have the Warwolves' hideout eventually being discovered by our Excalibur team, or as I've said, of Captain Britain, Rachel Gray, Megan, Nightcrawler, and Kitty Pryde. And there's some great fisticuff action between both Kurt Wagner, or Nightcrawler, and Captain Britain, able to take down the Warwolves. And you find out that the Warwolves actually abduct and absorb their life essence of their victims, so they can masquerade as humans on the in the world above, if you will. And there's actually a reference to the first issue of this series, but it's not to the detriment of this issue, as it doesn't you don't necessarily have to read the first issue in order to understand what's going on, as it's a really great self-contained story arc involving, as I've said, our Excalibur team on the trail of the Warwolves, and able to find and save their teammate Kitty Pryde, or Shadowcat, from the Warwolves. Yeah, the writing in this by Chris Claremont is great, and even though this issue was published 26 years ago, the writing still holds up, along with the equally on-par artwork of Alan Davis, and the inking of Paul Neary, and the colouring of Glynis Oliver. If I had to give this first issue of Excalibur a rating, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5, I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Chris Claremont, if you're a fan of the X-Men, if you're a fan of Marvel, if you're a fan of Alan Davis's artwork, if you're looking for a much less expensive series to get into in the lead up to Chris Claremont actually returning to the X-Men to write the next series of X-Men Legacy, which will actually focus on Kurt Wagner or Nightcrawler, then I definitely recommend you check out an Excalibur if you want to get to grips with his writing style and actually read something in preparation for the release of X-Men Legacy in April. So yeah, as I said, 4.5 out of 5 for Excalibur issue 2. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. As I always say, for thumbs down the video, by all means, please feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. And if it's your first time here, by all means, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Scambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys.